Hello everyone, this is Matt with Storm Central. Today is, just making sure the audio is working, today is August 19, 2011. It's around 10 o'clock Central Daylight Time, 9:49 to be exact. We haven't done a video in a while, so I just wanted to update everyone on Invest 97L, which is predicted to become a hurricane within the next week and possibly make a US landfall. Alright, so we're going to get started here by taking a look at the model forecasts. First I want to look over at this real quick, and I want you guys to take a quick look at the fine mesh grid 1-10 degrees centered on the storm. That would be right here in this area where I'm showing the mouse. I was just shown this real quick, so we're going to play it. As you can see, this takes it into the next 3 days here, shown over into portions just north of the Martinique area, if I believe my pronunciation is right, to the Virgin Islands area. This is going to be going south of Puerto Rico. We're looking at a landfall in the portions of Dominican Republic and Haiti areas. This would gradually weaken it, then we'll have a strengthen, and go into portions of Cuba areas, making landfall again. See, I do not agree with this model right here, but it's just showing that what could happen in the next couple of days. Looking at the Navy forecast, this is one big model that I love to point out, so we're going to zoom into this real quick. Alright, this would be the model forecast for the Navy. Alright, so we're looking at, coming in here, we're looking 36, 48 hours. Still not showing this totally into the picture. Let's go south just to make sure. No, we're not looking at this totally into the picture. 78 hours. You can see that low pressure right there coming into the picture, and that would be the hurricane, which would probably be a tropical cyclone at the time. Let's go to 108 hours. You can see that low pressure off of portions of the Cuban islands, and probably right off of Haiti. This would be a weak tropical storm potentially. That would dissipate. They're showing dissipation almost with this if it were to make landfall in the Dominican Republic areas. Let's go to the other model. This is more legit here. Looking at CMC, this would be the Canadian model. Looking at 24 hours, 36 hours, 48, that's 2 days. Coming into 72 hours, still nothing showing up. 84 hours, 96 hours. Finally getting picture come 3 days, and this is, I believe, the timing, which is pretty legit on this. We're looking at this coming into the Dominican Republic, Haiti areas. This would be south. This is the latest update. Coming in for 108 hours. This is taking more of a way southerly track, kind of like the GFS has. Looking at 120 hours, this is starting to pull north as it just passed Haiti. No landfall as of yet. 132 hours. This is we're looking at a very strong tropical storm or a hurricane likely. At 144 hours, we're looking at a very strong hurricane. This is going to start to begin to make landfall within 5 to 6 days here at Cuba. And this is what we're looking at. Looking at 180 hours, then we're looking at a hurricane over portions of the Keys here, either getting a landfall near Miami, Fort Lauderdale areas, or the Keys. Come 180 hours, and then come 192 hours seeing a landfall, and then it's off into sea already, pulled off by an upper level trough, which will bring it up the Carolinas coast into Georgia, and as you can see, just sweeping the coastline, if not making landfall, once again in North Carolina areas. This is one model that I do not agree with, and the European model also verifies the same thing. We're going to take a look at the GFS. Looking at the GFS, we're looking at nothing coming in, 60 hours, 72 hours. Finally seeing the pattern coming in here. You can take a look at the wind pattern with that high, Bermuda high, and also the high pressure over portions of Louisiana and Arkansas. Come 96 hours, they're getting it into pictures. This is taking a way southerly track. I don't agree with this, and you'll see my track in a little bit. We're looking at a weak tropical storm, come 144 hours, 156 hours. This is the medium range forecast, taking a landfall on the tip of Cuba, and then looking at 192 hours, we're in the center of the Gulf of Mexico. We could have trouble here. tons of time to get this really ramped up, and we're looking at landfall between Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama some for time for the latest on the GFS model. Alright, we're gonna go to one other model. Let's see if we can get a zoom on this. Yes, we can here. And this is one other thing I like to look at. This shows what I was talking about earlier. Let's move that upwards so we get that out of our way. Okay, so this is gonna be valid for the next. See if we can get south on that. Yes, that is what I want. Right there. Alright, so looking at 12 hours, we've seen things starting to develop. Looking at 106 millibars for pressure here. And this is just checking out the pressure in the air, get center pressure, and that's what the strongest area of the hurricane is. 72 hours, we're looking at this being, like I said, around Puerto Rican areas. 104 millibars, 100 still starts to strengthen down to about 1,000 millibars. If I was saying 100 earlier, I meant 1,000, so excuse me. Looking at still a weak tropical storm here. And it starts to get its act together over by Cuba, looking at potential landfall as a weak hurricane, and then it gets into the Gulf, and that's when we get the trouble dropping millibars. 985 right there shown. Alright, we're going to do some comparison models real quick. Take a look at any screen you want. Keep an eye on that point as we go through this. We're looking at the GFS model coming in right now. I'm going to be taking a look at that screen to the left to verify things. You see the model low way to the south by Cuba. All these models are just showing different graphics. And then you have trouble coming in here to these areas. This is taking it more into Mississippi, Alabama areas. Now we're going to take a look at the Navy model here. We're looking at, once again, this only goes 6 days, but you can verify and see that nothing was going on. This has not been updated. We're going to take a look at the Canadian model right now. As you can see, 2-3 days coming in, 6 days still shown to south in Cuba. Starts to pull north, and that means trouble potentially for Florida. And it looks like the European and the Canadian models are all on top with this, rather the GFS and the other models are more on to the Gulf here. Taking a look at one last, the European here, once again, that's almost the same as the Canadian. Taking a look at the model, going 7 days up to Florida areas here. The bottom line here, we're going to take a look what the National Weather Service is taking a look at. We're looking at it's up to 60% chance here coming in. We're going to take a look right now at where we're at. We are stationed over here, and I grabbed this earlier. We're not too far from portions of Martinique area. Not these islands here. We can see the center if we stop the radar, and we're looking at a center about right in this area potentially. I would get the visible satellite. It's much easier too if we were to find a center, but nighttime has fallen, so therefore we cannot get something like that up. Taking a look at the water vapor imagery, this is a great thing to find out. See, we still have some shear and lots of dry air here, therefore we are not getting any rapidly strengthening here. It's going to take a second to load up, but as you can see, that is our protected hurricane, and this model has it way over here. This is lifting more northern than earlier, so that's why it's bringing this track so far northern as a category 2 hurricane. Basically, what we have to watch for is there's this high pressure will be scooting, that has been in Texas, will be scooting out to New Mexico. We're going to be looking at the troughs very closely. Right now we're looking at no troughs coming in, but if there was a trough that would come and sweep this northward into portions of Georgia, South Carolina, that could happen. That's why the Europeans on that. The high pressure here in Bermuda is way out here over by the Bermuda areas. That won't be affecting it. It won't be anything, won't be coming way out to sea because that will be there. Like I said, we're going to take a quick look at the troughs right now. And just to make sure, we're going to go back to that model here. We're going to take a look at this. Would be the Canadians, see what they're saying. Anytime you see a dip area, as you can see, it's shown verified right here, a more dip, like a that's not the jet stream forecast. That'd be an upper level trough coming in, and that's what could take this thing away. Looking in, go into why this is shown this here. We're looking at come 7 days here, and we're seeing a trough into Florida. That right there is what we could get swept in. Shown verified here is this thing could just be swept in into Florida, taken straight up north. That's why that's verifying that, and that's why it's taking it way up the coast. Alright, so one last thing, we'll take a look just to verify this on the GFS, how it's not verifying that. Shown upper level winds, so we have patterns. That high will be moving. We have a Mexican high. We have the high in portions of Bermuda is not located there at the moment, and we're not looking at any troughs to want to swing this thing outward. So that's why we have to be on watch. It's all on timing. Let's go to my map real quick to verify all this. We're looking at Storm Central and Vest 97-hour projected path. Right now its location is about right in that area, more right in this area, general area right now, as I updated this earlier. We have Tropical Storm Harvey, we have our code right here, we have black, projected impact is forecasted to occur very soon, so that's why this area is in black. We have impact may occur in these areas, and then orange is impact, watch for impact, so you want to be on watch for the next couple of days. We have the islands in red here. We have impact may occur soon. That includes for Dominican Republic, Haiti, portions of the islands over here, the Virgin Islands, and Cuba. For the Bahamas, you just want to be on watch. In case this thing were to take the northerly track, we could have some impacts from this. Like I said, this is not even a tropical depression yet we are talking about that. Why? Is because computer models have been all over this since Tuesday, even into Monday. That's why I am so stressed. Not stressed, but I don't want to make a big deal out of this, because if something like this, like Don, for example, Emily, that one took this path, ended up absolutely nowhere. So anything could happen. If this thing were to go over an island, say it were to take this track that I'm about to draw in black here. We got it right here. What if it were to do something like this? Boom, 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 and do something like that. If it were to go all over these islands like that, then we would have nothing going on. This area right here is not enough time to be able to strengthen to a Cat 5 status. I'm not forecasting a Cat 5 status, I'm forecasting an upper Cat 3 or a lower Cat 4. This has plenty of time to develop. I think the best development will be in this general area, as we could have a landfall in this area. But let's erase all that and move on, because this is just a watch area. See, if any of these things were to go wrong, we will not see any develop going on. Say it were to clip these areas right here, that's a lot of area to go over. So, and this is very mountainous terrain, and if we have a tropical storm that will rip it again, that means it would maybe start to develop into this area before it makes landfall again, and then we will have to see what goes on in this general area. The cone of uncertainty is huge for this. The cone of uncertainty spans all the way from portions of Louisiana. Models have taken it all the way to portions of South Carolina here. I do not have that in cone forecast, as my cone forecast goes like this, as I'm drawing in this black, all the way up. But as you can see, there's the end of my cone, and then it goes, so you can see it very easily here. Try to keep my models, my forecast looks on this very professional, as people like professional outlooks. I did mark these areas in red, and that's for a reason, just to keep watch. Impact may occur soon, as shown right here. And we have Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida, and we have Georgia out for watch, South Carolina out for watch, also, as well as Texas. Once again, if this were to take a southerly path, we could have something like that coming in. Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi would have it. If they were to go exactly on my path, it would be Mississippi, portions of Alabama, and Florida, and Louisiana being it. If it were to take this more northerly path, say it would take that, but some forecasters have been having a hook on it, going right into Tampa, kind of like a Charlie thing. We're looking at Tampa, being the main threat, it would do something like this, go up the coast and potentially do another landfall. It all depends on timing, it all depends on where the trough's location will be. So what we have to do right now, I wouldn't be releasing this forecast if I was not confident. We don't need anyone evacuating. That is just simply unreasonable. What we are doing right here is just forecasting an alert. Make sure everyone keeps a watch to us and other local areas, your local broadcast center, especially those of you in the Virgin Islands, these areas. What are we looking at for the islands here? We're looking at heavy rain as possible. We're looking at mudslides, definitely, and very little wind threat. This does not strengthen. Bottom line here, folks, we're looking at potential impact being next weekend, Friday through Sunday, anytime like that. This could be a major hurricane, as it has all this time to strengthen. Anytime in these areas, in this red coned area, needs to keep a watch. No evacuations are needed. Don't even think about it. Just keep in the back of your mind that something like this could occur within the next week. Thank you, everyone. I don't want to stress this enough, just to keep a watch, and thank you very much. Everyone have a great day.